87% of realtors get into the business and get out of the business in 2 years. That doesn't exist in our world.
We have massive visions around growing our businesses, and we are always looking to add talent to our world. We do everything in our power to ensure the people we surround ourselves with defy the odds, get into production, and build massive lives for themselves.
If you are a realtor looking to get into the business, we have a blueprint for success.
With locations all across Canada, reach out to us. Let's talk about partnership and opportunities. We are looking forward to it. Welcome back, Sales Beast listeners. We're here with another episode, and today we're joined by Stacy Charron. I'm super excited to bring her on board. She's the CEO of Keller Mortgage Canada, a dear friend, a colleague, and we've had the pleasure of getting to know each other over the past couple of years. So I want to welcome Stacy on board. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Doing very well. Thank you. It's been a busy week, as is the case when you're launching a company. So, and I'm sure that you both can relate, and I've had really busy weeks as well. Great to be here with you, though. Yes.
Thank you for joining us. So obviously, over the course of this conversation, we're going to pepper you with questions about Keller Mortgage. But before we get into that, can we maybe take a step back, say 15 years, a bit of a background on you, how you got into the business, and what your journey's been like over that time period?
Yeah, absolutely. I started with Keller Williams 15 years ago. And what I'll say is that at the beginning of that journey, I had no idea where it would lead, where I am now. And it really was through the leadership, the training, the mentoring that I received at Keller Williams, which is our culture to be that way. I started to see the opportunities. I started to see the path. And one of the things that I would advise anyone who's kind of going through a similar journey is to stick with it. As Gary says, success is boring. It's time on task over time. And that drunk monkey that we have, that voice inside of us that says you're going in the wrong direction or you can't do this, it tends to be the loudest when you are going in the right direction. And so I had to make sure not to let that take me off course. And to keep going. I think, my commitment to stay the course led me to being able to get to this opportunity that I'm at, starting at Keller Williams as a receptionist. And I'm now the CEO of Keller Mortgage Canada, which is pretty cool. So to tell you a little bit about that journey, in 2006, I became a receptionist, and I was not really sure where that was going to take me. I quickly moved into the MCA department, and that was about 6 months into it. I thought that's where I was going to stay. I thought that was what I liked to do, accounting and all of that stuff. And for anyone who doesn't know what MCA means, Market Center Administrator, they manage the office, they process the deals, they cut the commission checks, all of that stuff. And I really thought that that's what I wanted out of life at the time. And then I started going to Keller Williams conferences. Family reunion just happened. They took me to conferences while I was in the MCA department. And I started to be built up and to learn about this crazy thing called real estate investing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's pretty cool. And being a business leader and being a business owner. And my OP was Jim Reitzel at the time, and he really helped me and took me under his wing and helped me see a real vision for my future. I always had an attraction. I was drawn from an early on at Keller Williams to the leadership side and wanting to be a part of Keller Williams in a leadership capacity. That much I knew. The rest became clearer over time. And I definitely learned what I didn't want as time went on. While I was in the MCA department, I started going to the local real estate school and recruiting. I'm going to pause there because that's a really cool opportunity that Keller Williams has that I wasn't a licensed real estate sales representative. I was just at the time passionate about Keller Williams and how it had started to change my life and how I knew that it could change other people's lives. So that's why I went to the college, was to not harass, to stop agents as they were coming out of the exam. Actually, they're very nice. It was a very nice thing. And to try and give them the gift of Keller Williams that was given to me. And that's the opportunity for profit share and to help people. And that's any role at Keller Williams, you can start doing that, which is pretty neat, I think. So recruiting I started to catch the bug for that, for attracting talent and bringing people to Keller Williams. And then I decided, I hit a ceiling of achievement in the MCA department and decided, so about 5 years in, decided to get my real estate license. You saw the opportunity that real estate was. I wasn't 100% sure if it was for me, and turns out it wasn't. Although I did well at it. I sold 22 homes my first year. All of those but one were strangers. I did just listed, just sold calls and open houses. This is before auto dialers, and I was an introvert. I didn't have any sales experience, didn't really have a big sphere of influence. So I felt like that was a good starting point for sure. And it helped teach me the things that I was missing, right? Because I was working at a real estate office and I knew a lot about like running an office. I knew a lot about the technology, but I didn't really understand what it was like as I'm recruiting agents to the company. I didn't really understand what it was like to be a realtor. And I needed that. I needed to understand it. So that was a great experience. And I love that I'm talking about this with you both, because you live and breathe teams. I joined a team when I started, and I think I have a unique perspective, although I'd love to get your, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask you guys questions, or I hope so. Okay. About teams, being on a team, but also talking to so many newer agents about what they want and need out of that relationship, and then talking to so many team leaders and top producers out of what they want out of the relationship. I think that's a really nice vantage point to have. When people asked me about teams and about joining a team, what I would say is, well, first of all, it's not for everyone. It's a very personal decision, right? And then the other is be very mindful of which team you join, right? We want to have that alignment of core values, the alignment of culture within the subculture within Keller Williams, right? And do they have a big plan for you? Because back when I was on the team, it was very different than it is now. It was kind of like you're a buyer agent and that's your opportunity. And if you want a different opportunity, you leave the team. And then what we've seen, the evolution of that is team leaders are like, I'm losing talent. I'm bleeding out talent. How do I keep them? What's my value proposition to keep them? And so if you're going to join a team, make sure that they have something in mind for that. Do they have a big plan? Are they going to help lift you up to where you want to go, to your big goals long term, if you want to stay on the team long term? And then if you're a team leader, have that big plan, lift people up. You both know at the highest possible level how much work it is to run a team, to hire talent, to keep them, to train them. I guess the other thing, and I want your kind of input on this, is I guess building a team for the right reason. Is it to help people? Or is it because you want to feel good about your, ego? And that's just a simple example, but is it worth it? All the work that you put into it, is it worth it if it isn't really to lift people up? I think that's the only good reason to build a team. Is that fair to say?
I think so. And I think it's an evolution. I think a lot of people decide in the beginning, maybe me included, that they want to build a team for ego reasons or financial reasons. And you quickly figure out that that's the place you're coming from. It's not going to be sustainable. You need to come from a place of wanting to help people, or it's just not going to work. If you're very transactional about it, the way I guess I look at it, what I'm trying to explain, especially from our team's perspective, we bring on new agents. To truly get a new agent into production could take a year or two perspective. You're not going to wait a year. I look at one individual on our team. He's really come into his own recently. But it's taken him it was a year to really get into production, and then 2 years to really master it. And now both of us are reaping the rewards of the work we put in together. We did 7 deals last month.
Wow.
$70,000. That's life-changing money. And now my goal is, how do I take this guy from making $70,000 a month to 140? How do we double it? And you need to create a big world for the people in your organization, or like you said, they're going to leave.
I love to hear you say that because it's where it starts definitely can sometimes just be, well, and who doesn't? Profitability is a cultural thing, right? That's what Mo Anderson would say, is you are in culture to want to be profitable. Otherwise, how are you going to keep the lights on? How are you going to help people? You absolutely can't. And yet at the same time, the main focus being lifting people up. That's what makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, I think if you're following the KW model, we run highly profitable businesses. But what I see when I look at a lot of teams, most teams, is that rainmaker sitting at the top hoarding all the profit for themselves.
Yeah.
Why can that not be shared amongst the group, especially with those people that want greater opportunity and have shown that they deserve it?
That's coming from what popped into my head as you were saying that is at Keller Williams, we have systems and models. So we have very profitable teams, and we have teams that give back a lot to their team members. Outside of that, there are a lot of agents at other companies that build teams that are not very profitable. When you look at the spread, the amount of money that they're spending, right? Lead with revenue, not expenses. They're not making that much money a year because they actually aren't building a business. So they should come talk to you at Keller Williams is kind of my point there. So if it's okay with you, I'll continue on my journey and take you down the yellow brick road. So recruiting really, I mean, even from being in the MCA department to being in real estate, I started to focus on recruiting more and more and recruited for the office. I've had 94 people choose me in my front line, and I've caused hundreds more to join the company. And of course, training the realtors really was a passion for me. I really kind of viewed, and my focus was a lot new agents because I went to the college. They're like my little babies, and they take a lot of time and focus to help lift them up. And you really do have to have a passion for it, and I did. I absolutely love that. It's nice to see where it's come. So 10 years ago, I recruited someone who's now an OP of an office, and many more that are top agents. That's it's an honor to be a part of that journey, right? And to have been able to help a little bit with facilitating that. So that's really been my main focus for many, many years. I believe that Keller Williams is absolutely the best place for any realtor in the world. And it's because I, again, was a receptionist. And this company didn't care about my status. They didn't care that I was just a receptionist, quote unquote. They poured into me. They cared about me. They wanted to make me better. And they did. And again, I don't think there is any other company out there that comes close to being able to lift people up. And it's our culture. It's truly what we live and breathe on a daily basis.
From that point, recruiting, how do we end up at Keller Mortgage? And what is Keller Mortgage, and what's your role within the organization?
Yes. Well, I'm the CEO of Keller Mortgage, and I was offered the role early in the process of Keller Mortgage coming to Canada, which wasn't that long ago. Essentially, it was last year. We launched in November of last year. And it really was a defining moment for me. And at the time that, and I'll get to the connection in a second. At the time of being offered the position, I was kind of in that, because of my experience and my commitment and my performance, I had a lot of job offers and a lot of opportunities coming my way. Not that I was necessarily even seeking out, but it's just kind of what the universe does, right? And so it was a big step and a pivotal time. I had great visions and plans for Keller Mortgage Canada. More importantly, my core values aligned perfectly with the founding members of Keller Mortgage Canada, who were a part of KW, the KW office that I was with. They were the ownership group of the Keller Williams office that I was with. So I wanted to talk about this at some point too. It matters who you hang with is something that we talk about a lot at Keller Williams. I know their hearts. I know that they genuinely care, and I've seen how much of a difference they've made in people's lives, myself included, over the past 15 years in working with them. And they were given this opportunity because Gary Keller knows their heart and knows that they live to serve Keller Williams agents and to make their life better. Jeff has mentored so many people into building wealth through real estate investing. He's a philanthropist. He's been on stage with Gary and Dave. He doesn't like to be talked about, but but he's, they've impacted my life so much. And that was really what I aligned myself with right from the very beginning. And it was not an instinct, but it was kind of an instinct at the same time, right? And I talk about this, I think about this in terms of who you hang with matters. It can be hard to make those decisions in business and in life. And we don't always make the decisions correctly. Like sometimes we make mistakes with that. And everybody in the world is a good, wonderful wonderful human being and everyone deserves, the same level of respect and all of that. And yet I think about it in terms of Doritos versus kind of broccoli. When thinking in terms of who you align with and people and core values, and it can be very easy to get intoxicated, I guess, by, the shiny bag of Doritos that has like this fireball on it, and it's a flavor burst, and it's just so exciting and wonderful and delicious. And people can be that way too. They can be very charming. And so it's kind of looking for the broccoli, because just because you're charming, by the way, does not mean that you're not broccoli, that you don't have substance and character and integrity. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But thinking in terms of, broccoli is a little bit more subtle. It doesn't, on the outside, it's a little less, appealing. It means to make you better, right? It has everything that you need to become a better person within it. and so you kind of, I try to make, when I look at people, and it's not judging them, but when you get to know people over time, dig deep. Because again, the Doritos are super delicious. There's no question, but they are going to break you down from the inside out over time. And broccoli is going to lift you up and make you better over time. And so it's just kind of looking for those people that are going to do that. And I think I found that with this group of people. So
I love that. That's such a good analogy. And we say it all the time on this podcast. You're the average of the people that you give your time to or that you spend time with, right? Now, speaking on that, like first of all, what is the goal of Keller Mortgage? How do you guys differentiate yourselves? And then what is your vision going forward? Like what do you provide, and what can we expect from Keller Mortgage Canada? I mean, this is something that is new to Canada, not new to the US, but definitely something that we need to get the word out about.
Yeah, absolutely. Keller Mortgage Canada was created. First of all, it started in the US and it's Gary's vision, Gary Keller's vision. And it's really to protect Keller Williams agents' value proposition for their clients and to help grow their business. So to be a service to drive Keller Williams agents' business to the next level by enhancing their repeat and referral business. Clients stay in KW agents' ecosystem, which is a word that you're probably hearing, or a conversation you're probably hearing more and more. And it's extremely important for the longevity of your real estate business. If a client stays in your ecosystem, they feel confident in that lifelong relationship that they have with their realtor and are less at risk of losing touch with their trusted advisor. On average, and I think that we definitely talk about this. We talk about it at Family Reunion and Mega Camp every single year, but I don't know that we fully absorb it as business people, that only 20% on average of customers use their realtor again. And the reason for that is because, first of all, they love us as their realtors and we're doing a great job for them. So it's not bad. That's not why we're losing 80% of our customers in repeat business. First of all, the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's a pain point. It can be a struggle for realtors to do that at the level. We sometimes, not on purpose, but we think we're bugging people, right? This is a problem that we have with lead generation. It's a problem that we have with follow-up, that we think we're bugging people. So we orphan our clients. The closing day happens and they don't hear from us and they're like, where did you go? So the fortune is in the follow-up. That's one key element that we're here to help with. We follow up with KW agents clients on their behalf several times a year. More importantly, it is that the client is databased under the agent's name and remains, anytime that client reaches out in the future, doesn't matter if it's 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and says, hey, what am I qualified for? Or, I want to renovate. Can I refinance? We reach out to the realtor right away. Anything that they should know about so that they can, and it's all permission based, like the client is happy with that. We let the realtor know so that they can reach out and further deepen that relationship. If we think about it, there are only a few people that a client reaches out to when they're thinking about real estate. The top two are the mortgage person and the realtor. So this is about having both of those bases covered. This is a tough conversation at times for me because, there's this instinct to beat people over the head with it because it's really, really important for the longevity of your business. But you also have to calm it down a little bit and try to explain it. And I think it'll take a little bit of time for people to fully absorb how important this is. And it's really the key reason. There's other stuff that I would talk about, but it's the key reason that we exist is to protect your clients for life and make sure that you're clients for life.
Where are you guys in the development of this business? Is this something that's operational today or something that's in the works?
Yes, it's operational today. Keller Mortgage in the US did a gradual rollout and we decided to emulate that. So Keller Mortgage in the US has been around for several years now, and we really wanted to emulate them as much as possible. And the gradual rollout allows us to provide the best possible experience, no matter what our volume levels are across Canada, right? So we launched in November in one market center. We are now available to seven, almost 8 market centers in Ontario, and then rolling out to the rest of the provinces. We are ready. Our talent bench, our leadership department, our deal flow process, our systems, and they're functioning. And we so appreciate the referrals that we've gotten from agents. And again, with that goal of keeping the realtor the superhero of the real estate transaction. We're the supporting role that keeps you at the center of your clients' lives and makes you look like a superhero. That's our drive for KW agents. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So tell me, like, why are you so passionate about what you do? Like, I've known you now for, let's say, like going on 3-4 years or so, and you're always excited about what you're doing and what opportunity you're currently in. And it's so relieving to see, but at the same time, like, how do you keep that passion and that drive to want to be great at what you do?
Well, that's really nice. Thank you. I think it goes back to the surroundings, right? People have changed my life at this company, and it absolutely means the world to me. The idea that I could do that for other people means the world to me. I really am very hyper protective of Keller Williams agent. And it's because I feel like, oh, you're just a wee little baby at the college, getting your real estate license, and you have so much to learn and so much to grow into. And I'm so protective of it. I just am. I love the human beings that are attracted to this industry. And even more so, the character and the type of people that are attracted to Keller Williams. They're my people. They just are. Like, you are my people. And so it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to not just, be excited about it. I get to be around people like you. What could be better? It makes me so happy. I look up to both of you. I think you're both incredible. I've watched your journey. I've seen how much you've done in such a short period of time. Oh my goodness. And it's just like, yeah, this is what it's all about. Yeah. It makes me happy.
I have a question once again about Keller Mortgage. It's not something I'm overly familiar with. And I think, much like myself, a lot of realtors are going to come across, are going to have established relationships with mortgage brokers they already work with. What plan do you guys have in place to get the word out and maybe shift the thinking amongst realtors and let them know what value you guys have to offer? Because that's pretty huge. If you can follow up with my clients for the next 15 years, not on my behalf, but alongside me, and let me know when they're potentially going to transact, that's huge value add.
Yeah.
So what's the plan to get up on the rooftop and let everyone know about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, it's a contact sport, just like real estate, right? So that's first and foremost. It's something that we haven't done yet at the level that we will. And it's simply because we want to make sure that we're hyper fortified with the experience that we're providing, and making sure that the volume levels that we're scaling at the right level for performance, for the experience for the client and the realtor. We do wealth building webinars on a monthly basis. The reason that we do the wealth building webinars on a monthly basis is so that agents can invite their clients to events it's a leverage piece that are done for them. We do all the heavy lifting. You've got the author of The Millionaire Father as one of the special presenters of the Millionaire Real Estate Investor webinar. And then I present the Your First Home webinar. And so being able to kind of show agents how they can integrate Keller Mortgage into their business and grow their business outside of that, the ecosystem, which is the biggest piece. We have that. So that's one way we're shouting it from the rooftops. Absolutely. And like I said, this is about, if you're listening to this and you're a Keller Williams person, we're going to have a chat. Like I'm going to be in your face. If it hasn't happened yet, trust me, it's by design and it will happen. And I kind of can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit a little bit. The relationships with other mortgage people is a really good thing to talk about, I think, because you're absolutely right. If you've been in this business for a year or even less, but definitely more, you have relationships with other mortgage people. What we found is that there is no realtor that 100% of their clients go to any one specific mortgage person. And that's our foot in the door. There are a lot of realtors that refer 3 different mortgage people or banks. And then there are some that have really a deep relationship with one. And still, regardless, there are people in their database, in their sphere that they're doing deals with that are not using their best friend who's a mortgage person. They're just not. It's statistically impossible, right? So what that allows is for them to be able for us to get our foot in the door, to show them what we've got, to show them the customer experience, I just need one. That's all we need is one person that you refer to us, and we'll sell you that this is the best place for your clients and for you, for the longevity of your business. In addition to that, we have the 0+ loan, which we'll be talking about a lot. Because again, going back to this is a belly to belly thing. I need to go and we go and talk to people. And again, you will hear from us if you haven't yet. One of the things that we'll be talking about is the 0+ loan, which is exclusively for KW agents clients or buyers of Keller Williams listings. So what we're doing there is remargining the mortgage commission to give back as much as possible to KW agents and their clients. The 0+ loan offers $1,000, up to $1,000 cash gift to the borrower on closing, 0 broker fees, and we have a rate and lender watch program for best product fit until closing with industry leading rate. And we also revenue share to the realtor, which, they can use for whatever they want. What we found is that many will give it to their client, whether it's a bigger, better closing gift, whether it's more events or goodies throughout the year. The spirit of the revenue share is that agents get to give more to their clients and be even more of a superhero for their clients. And then to add on to that, what we also know is that people want to work with companies that serve a greater purpose, right? I think it's probably why most of us are at Keller Williams, a big part of why most of us are at Keller Williams. It's a big part of my draw to the founders of Keller Mortgage Canada here in Canada is how much they give back and make a difference in the world. So the 0+ loan offers our Grow a Tree, Grow a Child initiative. 2 trees are planted for every application that is done, and 1 month of schooling is provided to a child in need for every mortgage done through the 0+ loan. I like the tree planting is really about the idea that we're in the business of home ownership and planet Earth is our first home. So we really get to keep the planet healthy and habitable for many generations to come. And then the Grow a Child initiative, our founders have been involved with Ghana. So I'm talking about Jeff and Kevin, have been involved with Ghana for many years. And we have been funding the Assurance of Hope Children's Home and the education for the kids in the home as well. So we get to do more as Keller Mortgage Canada begins to grow. We've also joined forces with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, connecting over a shared passion for providing awareness and funding for education projects for kids in need because they deserve our support and help. Someone posted this, a friend of mine posted recently on social media, and it was just kind of like, what's the difference between us here in Canada and a refugee? It was unrelated to this, but it kind of comes back. And the difference is luck. The opportunities that we have because we were born in Canada, I got luck. So these kids don't have access to those opportunities. They don't have access to the education that we just take for granted. To be able to provide that, I mean, Keller Williams is a training-based and education-based company. We understand the power that it gives people and the change that it can create.
Amazing. That's super impactful. And I mean, you said it yourself, like people want to work with businesses or other people that are making an impact. And I think what you guys are doing with Ghana is definitely great. And also with the tree planting. Now, in terms of the people that you work with, like what does your team look like right now? Like I know yourself, Jeff, Kevin, who else is in your group and the people that you surround yourself with through Keller Mortgage? I'd love to understand what the structure looks like.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So Jeff Reitzel is our CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So the people that I've talked about so far are founders and leadership group. They're not underwriters or processing mortgage deals. So yes, so Jeff is our Chief Financial Officer. Jeff Zabel is our Chief Underwriting Officer. He has been in the Keller Williams kind of world for many, many years. He started in banking in the same year that Keller Williams was born, 1983, and has been a top performer in the mortgage industry since 2005. And then we have Kevin, who is our Chief Integration Officer, and he is also helping with the integration of tech between Keller Williams and Keller Mortgage. He's been with Keller Williams for over 15 years and is a KW approved trainer, presenter, MAPS coach, top real estate agent. And again, these are people that I'm talking about that aren't their leadership. They help run the centralized underwriting department. They're not actually doing mortgage transactions, nor am I, by the way. And then there's me. So that's the core leadership group. And then we've got our director of underwriters, Christina. I think we have about 7 full-time underwriters right now, and we're rounding on 5 administrators. We have a bench of people outside of that are ready to go, but that's the kind of starting point for it. Running lean and mean as much as we can.
I mean, that's a pretty good team. Just for starters, it
Yes.
definitely sounds like to have Keller Mortgage in your corner is a good place to be.
Thank you. Yes, we're ready and functioning with serving clients, at the highest possible level. And we have deep relationships with top lenders that have been cultivated over the last 20 plus years. And those relationships are absolutely something that will benefit KW agents and their clients. The ability to have creative and savvy financing solutions for people that may not be cookie cutter, perfect, options for financing. We have that. We have the ability to bring things together and to help people with their building wealth through investing in real estate. We have an absolute expertise and focus when it comes to that as well.
Love what you said. This is totally off topic, but when you're talking about luck, I think Anna probably heard me say this last podcast. So I just had a son and I was off for like 3 weeks. And for whatever reason, I started reading about Warren Buffett. I don't know, 3 or 4 books on him in the last month. And he talks about luck and he calls it ovarian luck. And it's just something we never think about. And it's how fortunate we are to be born in Canada, to the families we've been born into in this particular moment in time. Even you could argue 3 of us on this call have had more luck than Warren Buffett. I think he was born in the 30s, the worst financial crisis of all time.
Yeah.
And it's just huge. And when I look at you reaching out to all these people, it's almost like you're through recruiting, whether it be for Keller Williams or Keller Mortgage, you're creating luck for these people as they walk out of the doors of Maria. Something someone did for me at one point. So super grateful for that. And yeah, it's just nice to see you impacting so many people. Like the more people we can get into this ecosystem or world of ours, the better, because there's no better place to live within and definitely no better place to start your real estate business.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Thank you to both of you guys. Monster recruiters.
Stacy, before we let you go today, we ask every guest that we have on the podcast the same question just before we wrap up. So who do you know that we should have on this podcast?
I have 3 names because I have lots of friends. No. Sonia Oliveira is our cultural leader, social equity committee chair locally. And she brings a lot of awareness to women's issues, men's mental health issues, Indigenous peoples, Black Lives Matter. She just has that kind of heart and is a very successful top agent with a really incredible brand. Brian Ellis, top agent locally and social media guru. And then Marsha Grove, who is also a top agent and social media guru and a firecracker who's a lot of fun to talk to. So that's my 3.
We've actually had Brian on before, but we'll definitely have to reach out to Marsha and Sonia to get them on the podcast.
Good. We'll have to check out Brian's. I missed it.
Do you have any last thoughts that you want to leave us with today before we let you go?
I like that. Well, one of the questions that you had that we didn't get to is what's your kind of motto or theme for the year? And I like that one. And my theme for this year is to fail fast, fail often, and to fail forward, because you fail your way to success. So I'll leave you with that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Stacy.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I really love you both very much. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.